It's time now for the award-winning #1 local talk show in Northeast Pennsylvania, The Sam Lesante Show. Now here's your host, Sam Lesante.
Welcome to the Sam Lesante Show, folks. Today, we're going to talk about a serious problem. We're going to talk about it. Hopefully, we're going to get some solutions. It's the drug problem, okay? So I thought we would start addressing a few things, bring facts up, and then what do we have to help? First, I want to applaud Dr. Tom Mead, orthopedic surgeon, as you know, has a number of shows on our system here. But Tom Mead had a forum a couple of weeks ago, and he brought a lot of information up about the opioid problem that we have. And we had a lot of interesting guests there talking about that, and I applaud Dr. Mead for doing that. Also coming on the show today is the Schuylkill County District Attorney, no stranger, Christine Holman, and the Schuylkill County Coroner, Dave Moylan. First, welcome to the show again. It's nice to see you guys.
Great, thank you.
Dave, let me start with you a minute, okay? You're the coroner, and and congratulations on the Modern Medicine show. Incidentally,
thank you.
It was a great show, and hopefully you'll have many more great shows. But as a coroner in Schuylkill County, and I guess what you're going to say could be dittoed across the state of Pennsylvania, across the nation for that matter. What have you found in drug-related deaths this year versus last year?
Sam, our county and our nation is in the middle of a nightmare, the proportions of which are astounding. Last year in our county, which has about 148,000 people, we had 24 drug-related deaths. This year, 2016, we're only 8 months into the mission, and we've had 50. So it's a doubling of that. And last year, there were 3 fentanyl deaths, pure fentanyl. And again, that's a very potent narcotic that's used in anesthesia, and we use it all the time in cancer pain management. This year, we've had about 17 between that, and some of those were pure fentanyl. About 5 were pure fentanyl. The rest were mixed in with heroin or other drugs.
So when you're going...
I want to say one thing here is that a lot of these deaths we're finding when we do our comprehensive toxicologies, we're seeing marijuana on board. And I think that's going to be another story. And I think with this medical marijuana law, we're going to be ruining the day, Christine.
Well,
yes.
Let's stay with that 1 second, and I know how you feel on that, and a lot of law enforcement feel on that. It's just crazy. When you're picking these people up and you're going into these homes, you're seeing devastation, aren't you, Dave?
Oftentimes. However, these people that are taking these drugs, they're not taking them alone. And oftentimes the scene has been sanitized so that a lot of the evidence is gone by the time our deputies arrive and the detectives from the county get there.
Okay, so those are statistics you have. Okay, now Christine, let's talk about some statistics first. Then we're going to go into various things. So what do we have here in Schuylkill County?
In Schuylkill County, Sam, I've been tracking the drug crimes since I took office for 2014. 2014 up to the present day. In 2014, we had approximately 2,173 criminal cases filed. Out of that many criminal cases, the drug crimes that took the lead were marijuana. There were 124 criminal complaints that involved marijuana. The next drug, which was perhaps maybe in the 70s, heroin, and then meth. Now we come forward to 2015, and we had 2,652 criminal complaints filed in 15. Roughly, I would say 40% of those criminal complaints, Sam, involved drugs. And heroin has now taken the lead. Out of those drug crimes, 21% involve heroin. Marijuana is still up there at 17%, Doc, and then we would slide down to methamphetamines, 15%. None of that good. And what we're seeing is these drug crimes, of course, are coupled with retail thefts, thefts in general, burglaries, DUIs. All right, so continuing with some statistics, we now move into 2016, present day, from January 1 to July 31st of this year, we had 1,510 criminal complaints filed. The first 262 complaints filed, 17 of those involved heroin. So you're looking at a trend where I believe heroin is going to surpass, as far as percentage-wise, where we were in 2015. It's a huge problem. Schuylkill County Drug Task Force, I think, has taken the bull by the horns, and we have been doing many drug raids. And the purpose, I believe, Sam, for law enforcement is to continue to aid the public and keep the public safe. I've been asked by many, well, what am I going to do about this addiction problem? I'll be honest, I don't have an answer, but I can perhaps expand, and I've been explaining to different groups some of the programs that Schuylkill County has in place and has had in place for years.
Dave, as a coroner, you know, there was a coroner in the state of Pennsylvania that said that they should be treating these as homicides. The drug, when you get convicted.
Yes, I think you're referring to my colleague, Chuck Kiesling, who is
what did he say?
He's the coroner of Lycoming counties up in Williamsport. And his point was that to declare them as an accidental overdose doesn't take in the full import of the incident, and that it's not like somebody slipped off a ladder and they broke their neck and they died of an accidental death. And pretty much the coroners have a different definition of homicide than the legal definition for prosecuting somebody for manslaughter or for murder. It's the death at the hand of another human being. And that can be in the setting of an accident or whatever. But I've thought of an analogy here. A used car salesman sells you a car that he knows was defective. And in fact, the defect might have been such that it was against the law to sell the car, and you die in an accident. Did you die of an accidental death, or did you die at the hand of another human being? So that was the consideration that Coroner Kiesling had.
And what as a prosecuting district attorney, what are your thoughts about that?
Well, I respectfully have to disagree with your colleague, Doc, and there is a statute in the Crimes Code, 2506, dealing with death as a result of drug delivery. However, I am faced with a very heavy burden. I need to prove to a jury of 12 people that a drug dealer administered drugs to an individual, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a dealer, just that another individual administered, aided in doing so to another that caused their death. And there are very strict prongs and requirements. So it's not that easy. Oftentimes, as Doc mentioned, you know, you have a coroner, first person on the scene, looking at a deceased victim, and there's a needle in their arm. As Doc mentioned, the rest of the place is sanitized. So unless you have someone coming forward indicating that they were present, that they assisted in the administration,
Okay.
you're not going to go anywhere.
So let's talk about that case that you have, and the person is convicted. Okay, you get a conviction, and the jury says, yes, you were responsible. You caused the death of Mr. John Doe. Okay. there's a punishment now, okay?
Yes.
What is that? What happens?
That person would have been charged with a felony of the first degree, and the statutory penalty would be 40 years in prison.
Okay. So now we have an increase in use. We have you're rounding up like crazy. I mean, you're doing in Luzerne, Schuylkill County is, same thing we're doing here in Hazleton with our new police chief. I mean, every other week they're rounding these people up. They're trying to clean up the streets. But the demand is still there.
Yes.
So the problem is, if the demand is still there and these people are robbing and stealing to fix their demand, and believe me, I feel sorry for those people. There's two things. Number one, maybe the punishment should be a little bit more severe when you are arrested for selling drugs. And what happens when you are buying the drugs, okay? I know when a person's addicted. Now, there are treatment programs that I want you to talk about when we come back after the break.
Sure.
They say, and I firmly believe, they need to be treated. It's like any person who's addicted. But the thing is, that person who sells that, who knows that person could, because of greed and money, what is the punishment? Should it be bigger? Should it be harsher than what it is? So people know, if you get caught, this is it. Folks, I'm talking to District Attorney, Schuylkill County, Christine Holman, and the Schuylkill County Coroner, Dave Moylan. We'll come back after this message. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show, folks. Remember, 24/7, you get to watch all of our shows we produce at Samson Productions, ssptv.com. My email is sam@ssptv.com. My guest today is District Attorney from Schuylkill County, Christine Holman, and the Schuylkill County Coroner, Dave Moylan. 2014 Tamaka raid, 20 arrests. These are Wednesday, November 19th, 2014, Shenandoah, 27 arrests. This was a big raid. Monday, January 12th, 2015, Tamaka raid again, 8 arrests. Wednesday, November 18th, Tower City raid, 24 arrests. Friday, December 11, 2015, Shenandoah raid, 20 arrests. Monday, May 2nd, 2016, Tamaka raid again, 28 arrests. Thursday, May 19, Asheville Girardville raid, 10 arrests, and it just goes on and on. Christine Holman has been really busy in Schuylkill County, folks, trying to get these people who are breaking the law using drugs. It's a serious matter, as we all know. It affects everybody because these people then go and rob and steal and do all that stuff. Now, I asked you before, you're convicted, or you're selling the drugs. All these arrests. What happened to these people that are arrested? Are they in jail? Are they paying the price, or what's going on?
Yes, Sam, Pennsylvania, in brief, has what's called a sentencing guidelines. There's a commission that tells you what type of sentence you would receive if you commit a certain crime. Most of the drug crimes where we are arresting people on warrants, those are felony crimes. And felony crimes, for a felony one, you could spend up to 40 years in prison. The felony is classified as far as the degree of the crime, if it's a delivery, possession with intent to deliver, and then the drug and the weight of the drug takes a big play into how your sentence would be fashioned. Our goal is to have the dealers, the individuals committing the felony crimes, sentenced, perhaps to state sentences, but we're not against having these individuals also seek treatment while they're serving sentences. And Pennsylvania has 2 phenomenal programs that I think is often overlooked. The State Intermediate Punishment Program, which is geared specifically for drug users. Okay, go ahead.
I just want to,
Yeah.
these people that were arrested, okay,
Yes.
were they dealers or were they users?
Combination.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
So we're done a treatment. So these people was a combination. Users and treatment. Okay, so
Right.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I
No.
wanted to get this fact across.
Certainly. And what I want to make clear, Sam, is that the individuals that are selling drugs for profit,
Yes.
that are ruining our country,
Yes.
big businesses, these individuals are not necessarily eligible for the treatment programs. The addicts, the mid-level dealers perhaps, the users, the supply and demand where the dealers are coming in because there's a huge demand for drugs. Those are the individuals that are being offered motivational boot camp, state intermediate punishment programs. Those are the individuals who are, I would say, are receiving county sentences to state sentences.
So you're telling me that all of these arrests of these people here, okay, are either in jail or being treated or whatever?
They're either incarcerated, they're incarcerated with a combination of, say, incarceration and intensive outpatient treatment, adult probation supervision. Some may have been evaluated by the state for the state intermediate punishment program. Some may be in the intermediate punishment program run by the adult probation program in Schuylkill County. But every one of the individuals who were arrested were sentenced maybe as low as probation up to a state sentence, but all are being overseen by either the county or state parole or probation officers to determine if they are set to be released.
You see this more than anybody sees this because you're very active in this particular matter. The devastation of families. And when you have a father or a mother or a guardian who sees that their child has been has died because of an overdose, and they know that this person supplied them with that, it's devastating to them, okay? And as far as they're concerned, that person who killed my daughter or my son, why aren't you doing something about that person once you catch that person? And why is that? And you know, now they go into jail with a smile on their face, okay?
Sure.
Which is really a disgusting thing. No value for life, going back to, well, if you have no value for unborn babies, why should it have value for life? But the thing is, so what burden does that put on you, Christine, as a district attorney?
Well, I'm aware and can accept the fact, Sam, that people are angry. They should be. They should be angry at these individuals that are committing the crimes. The anger is misdirected to law enforcement. Law enforcement is looking to remove these dealers and users from the streets, either incarcerate them or allow a court to sentence them to some type of alternative or diversionary sentence. What you're talking about, perhaps, is the state statute that allows for law enforcement to charge death as a result of drug delivery.
Yeah.
It's a very difficult crime to prove.
Yeah.
There's got to be a suspect. If you have no evidence,
see, so if I
you
say,
can't do it.
I know Dave. I know Dave has been selling my son drugs. I know it, okay? Well, saying that, and even it could be true, it's a lot difficult for you. It puts you that you have to prove this.
Well, and Sam, let me tell you, you talked about all the raids that Schuylkill County Drug Task Force has been involved in.
Yeah.
What the public needs to know as well is those raids take 6 months prior planning. So if we have an individual that has a family member that has recently passed and they suspect it's Sally, it's Dave who gave them those drugs, we can't just go out and arrest Sally or Dave on their suspicion. We need probable cause. We would have to set up another individual that they may have sold drugs to. And once something devastating happens, that person may lie low for a while. You don't know, but we are certainly going to come across many other drug dealers. Perhaps that one would be in the mix, but we cannot just go make an arrest on a suspicion.
Dr. Moylan, you had a question.
I had a question, again, referring to the statute of Pennsylvania Code 2506.
It's like you have it there, yes.
Yeah, but, and part of it when it became effective in August of 2014, so it's about 2 years old.
Yes.
And I'm aware of one prosecution. It was one of our decedents, and they prosecuted down in Berks County Court, I believe successfully. But how many times in Pennsylvania are you aware of that they've had successful prosecutions?
I haven't really done the research on that, Doc, in the state of Pennsylvania. I can tell you in Schuylkill County, we have not yet charged under 2506.
And I have a comment on some of your thoughts about making the penalty more severe other than a slap on the wrist. And I'm not espousing this for the United States or for Schuylkill County, so you can distance yourself from me. But in my research, the island state of Singapore approached this same problem back in the 80s. They had a terrible drug problem, and they came up with an act for the misuse of drugs, and they defined the traffickers, not the individuals, but the traffickers as being subject to capital punishment. And they have a prison over there, Shangji Prison, and when the sun would rise on Friday morning, they would hang men. And it's a severe thing.
Did it stop the usage?
Nowadays, they don't have to hang anybody.
No, they know that.
Yeah.
I'm talking to District Attorney Christine Holman and Schuylkill County Coroner Dave Moylan. Will be back right after this. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show. Remember, 24/7 SSPTV.com. Watch all of our shows. My guest today, Schuylkill County District Attorney Christine Holman and the Schuylkill County Coroner Dave Moylan. You have here something that I think is really fantastic, okay? The most wanted, Schuylkill County's most wanted. And kudos to the Republican Herald for working with this. How did this come about, and what was the success of this?
Sam, I was at a chamber mixer one evening, and one of the representatives from the Putts Republican, Mike Joyce, approached me, and he said, I have an idea for you. You're either going to really hate it or really love it. So I was intrigued. I said, call me tomorrow. So he did. He actually, I think, came by and he had some samples from other counties. He showed me it, and I was immediately sold. I said, Mike, I love it. I want in. Tell me what I have to do to make this work. So he asked me if we had outstanding warrants, and I said, yes, we are not without outstanding warrants. And in fact, currently, I think we probably have 500 plus. So the way we started was I had asked Detective Dennis Clark, who handles all of our bench warrants and does a phenomenal job, if he would pull out the bench warrants for the felony crimes, the highest crimes that we have. And we put those as the 10 most wanted. We then put 40 additional in. We separated those into some drug crimes, some violent, non-violent. And the response that the Putts Republican got was unbelievable.
This is great. So, and you were able to capture a lot of these people from this?
Yes, and the Putts Republican did this on their own accord. They worked with Dennis, and when someone was captured, they then published that. So periodically, it might have been 2 weeks, and in 2 week increments, they would publish who was captured.
Here again, you're really putting the finger on crime. Yes, David.
Question for Christine.
Yes.
Are there any rewards associated with information that comes to your office to track these people down? And whose job is it to process a bench warrant? Do our sheriffs do that, or what?
Well, first, unfortunately, there is not any monetary reward. However, I think a reward, a moral reward, in helping us, helping Schuylkill County with limited manpower. The Schuylkill County detectives, Dennis Clark, is in charge of the bench warrants. When there's a proceeding, someone doesn't show up, we request a bench warrant, we put it to print in the form of a motion, we get it to a judge, they sign it, bam, it gets logged in the clerk of courts. We then have that availability to put it in most wanted.
You know, when we do shows like this, you could explain in detail what is happening, because a lot of people think, you know, well, what are they doing about it? So this is the reason why we have these shows. Now, you have here 2016 annual award winners. Schuylkill County Chamber put this out, and Christine Holman, you were voted the Businesswoman of the Year.
Yes.
That was a nice honor.
Was a
my
great
good
honor.
friends Kelly and Vito Valent enterprise entrepreneurs, and certainly they are. If you haven't been to
Absolutely.
Vito's Coal-Fired Restaurant, you really are missing out, folks. And of course, Jerry Labuti, Businessman of the Year. And I think that's a nice honor that you can.
It was a very nice honor for all those involved, and I would like to say that I take my award, though, in a representative capacity for the District Attorney's Office. I would not be able to function in my capacity without the great staff that I have.
You know, I always talk about facts, and sometimes when you put all the facts together, these are the results. We have Dave Moylan, who ran for Schuylkill County Coroner. He gets weighed in more than 7,000 votes. That means that they're appreciating what you're doing, and you're doing your job right. You've been a district attorney, and I don't think there's one time I've ever asked you, Christine, to come on the show to talk about the hard things that were going on, what's happening, and you always were there with the facts, backed them up, letting the people in Schuylkill County know that you're doing what a district attorney should be doing. And I think that's admirable, really, I really do.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on the show. Dave, good luck with Modern Medicine.
Thanks so much.
You have a great executive producer of that show. He's well known throughout the entire world. I don't want to say who it is, but his initials are Sam Lesante. Anyway, Christine, thanks for coming on the show. You'll be back on again. Folks, you have any questions or any comments, sam@ssptv.com. Remember, watch our series On the Road to the 2016 elections. They get interesting. Stay with us. We'll see you next time.